30 seconds and counting. 25 seconds and counting. We are still go. 20 seconds. Guidance alert. The guidance system now going internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening to my viewers in Europe and in Africa. Good late afternoon to most of my viewers in the Western Hemisphere. Good morning to my viewers in the Pacific Rim. Welcome to the Angry Astronaut. Thank you very much for tuning in on this historic day. And a lot of people have described this as being a bittersweet day. I look upon it as being a bit more bitter than sweet, because this is, the moment when, assuming that this launch actually happens, that Europe is going to lose their last launch vehicle. There is no Ariane 6. The new Vega rocket has experienced problems as well and is not in service either, which means, at least for substantial payloads, Europe doesn't have anything. And as a matter of fact, given that they don't have any small launch vehicles yet either, they will soon. But still, we are gonna. There are problems coming up. Anyway, where's everybody checking in from? Let's go ahead and get started with that. We have a lot of people who have been speaking French in the chat. Not sure how many people are tuning in from France, but in any event, we have Germany, Mannheim on Ruhr. Where else do we have coming in? We have UK. We have Nottingham. Hello, Nottingham. Vega still operational. Yeah, that's true. The new Vega, I guess, is what they're talking about. Bulgaria, France. Hello, France. Thank you very much for tuning in. We have England. We have Switzerland, Cardiff, Texas, Southampton. And of course, we have my good producer in Yorkshire. We have Northern New Jersey, Derby, Arizona, Mulhouse. We have Israel. Let's see, Death Valley. Hello. Let's see. Columbia Britannique, British Columbia. Let's see. We also have Canada. Other places in Canada is Ireland, Devon, UK, Long Beach, California, Birmingham, Finland, Huddersfield, UK. We also have Texas, Northumberland. We have Pennsylvania, New York. Yes, indeed, the end of an era that we have over 100 people already tuned in. Very excited about that. Once again, let's hope everything goes smoothly. This is not a particularly, also LA, hello, Baltimore, Liverpool. Really do appreciate everybody tuning in today. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, especially those likes. Make sure to hit those likes. It really helps these broadcasts. It really helps YouTube say, ooh, the viewers are enjoying this stuff, and maybe we should start promoting it to people who have never seen the Angry Astronaut before. That's actually what allowed that one UFO video that I put out that caught fire that has nearly 400,000 views now. That's one of the things that made it so successful, is the fact that I got over 8,000 likes in a very short amount of time from those viewers, because I asked them to like it, and sure enough, they did. And man, that video blew up, and that is how we succeed on YouTube. So Milton Keynes, hello, Milton Keynes, my new hometown, hopefully. Palm Desert, California, Texas, and Yeah, it looks like we're going to have some invites here coming up very soon from Ariane Spas. We have Tanzania, we have UK, boy, all over the place. Once again, so excited, so happy that we have people tuning in from all over the world. If you are watching from France, I would say I hope that this is a moment that the French nation can come together and be proud for a moment. Because I really had an opportunity while I was making this latest video about the Ariane 5, the tribute video that I did yesterday. I got an opportunity to really discover everything that this rocket has done in its long and storied history. And my God, this rocket has accomplished so much, so many vital scientific missions that have been carried out efficiently and reliably by this heavy lift rocket, a rocket that at one time was the most powerful rocket that we had available on the planet prior to the existence of the Falcon Heavy. This was a very, very powerful rocket, a rocket that, of course, delivered the James Webb Space Telescope, but also has delivered the JUICE mission recently, which is, of course, going to Jupiter, Mercury mission that we saw some pictures from recently, and all of the things that it did in its ancient past, including an X-ray telescope that is still in operation after 24 years. 24 years of solid operation, and it is truly amazing that this has happened. And once again, without without an anomaly since 2002, a rocket that has for nearly 21 years delivered a flawless performance. Let's hope that that's what we see on its final flight today. I'm very confident. It's Ariane 5 hasn't had a bad experience in a really long time. I think they've had a good opportunity to make that happen. So at a time that France is experiencing a lot of internal strife, there's been, and I'm not really all that familiar with the reasons as to why a lot of this stuff is happening. All I know that this is times of trouble for some areas of France anyway. I think that this is a wonderful time for the French nation to come together and to be proud of what they have accomplished, because this is a huge thing. There are not too many countries on this planet that can legitimately say that can say that we made this mission possible, this mission possible, this mission possible. I mean, all of these accomplishments. It's so tough to do that. And Graham, thank you so much for the 20 quid, by the way. Really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, I really hope that that there are a lot of people across across France who are coming together tonight, maybe dialing down the anger a little bit, and instead remembering what this nation has accomplished together. Certainly hope so. But in any event, there is a future. It's just delayed, sadly. Ariane 6, which should have replaced this rocket some time ago, still not in service, still experiencing problems. It's very problem ridden, and even when it does get into service, it's going to be expensive. But nevertheless, not necessarily useless. One thing that Ariane 6 could definitely do is make a human spaceflight program for Europe possible. And the way that it would do that is the Dream Chaser space plane from Sierra Space was specifically designed to be compatible with Ariane 6. The Ariane 6 5-meter fairing is compatible with Dream Chaser. So when the human rated Dream Chaser comes out in 2026, Sierra Space has made it very clear that they are not going to restrict access to Dream Chaser, that they will make Dream Chaser available to Europe if they want it. So this would be a fantastic way for Europe to suddenly catapult themselves into the world of human spaceflight. Ariane 6 plus Dream Chaser, and Dream Chaser can then land at Spaceport Cornwall. Boom. You've got a human space program with minimal investment, utilizing technology that's going to be in service anyway very soon. And that's just one major thing that Ariane 6 could bring to the table. And yeah, Sure, Ariane 6 may be a relatively expensive way of getting humans into orbit, but look at the alternatives. Look at how few Europeans get an opportunity to go to space through NASA. And I'm not going to judge NASA harshly or anything. It's just they have only so many seats available on their own missions for European astronauts. It's time for Europe. And by the way, the European Space Agency agrees with me. They've been talking a lot recently about kickstarting a human spaceflight program. It's time for Europe to make human spaceflight available themselves. Make it to where a kid in France, a kid in Germany, a kid in Romania, a kid in the Czech Republic, a kid in Slovakia, anywhere like that, if they want to become an astronaut, if they dream of becoming an astronaut, it's a realistic possibility as opposed to a virtually impossible dream, which it is right now. So let's hope. Let's hope that that something like that should happen. But yeah, I've had numerous conversations with Sierra Space about Dream Chaser and Ariane 6, and we're totally of one mind. Sierra Space wants ESA to purchase a Dream Chaser to use in conjunction with Ariane 6, which would be way less expensive than developing that capability on their own. So let's hope. Let's hope that that something like that comes out really soon. Over 200 people who have tuned in at the moment. Thank you very much for tuning in. As you can see, we have the broadcast. We've got the launch show going here pretty soon. So that's coming up. Apparently, everything still looking nominal for the launch tonight. Let's hope that everything goes smoothly. The launch, of course, canceled yesterday, not because of any technical issues, but instead because of high altitude winds. Oh, let me go ahead and check. I'm going to check the Discord real quick for the live stream Q&A. By the way, for those of you who want to participate in that, it's an easy thing to do. Go to Patreon. $3 a month, and you not only get access to the Discord channel, but you also get access to a lot of unique content, early releases, etc. So the live stream Q&A is what we have up right now. And we have Carl Thamel saying the Ariane 5 is a splendid launcher. It is just too small for large outer planets missions. Crewed flights require extensive modifications to the Ariane 6 launch pad. That's true. It's still a ways to go. There's no question about that. But given the fact that ESA has already talked about making this possible, and also given the fact that it's going to be 2026 at least before a crewed version of Dream Chaser becomes available, I think it's going to be, I think that ESA has a fair amount of time to make those necessary modifications. So we shall see. But boy, over 220 people tuned in. Once again, guys, please please subscribe, and especially the like part. Likes are enormously helpful to this channel. Also, I want to express my deepest appreciation for the support that I receive in terms of super chats, and also on Patreon, and also my GoFundMe page, as I'm trying to make my journey to Europe here in less than 2 months. And by the way, depending on how things go with my North American tour plans, I'm also planning on diverting some of that cash into making a North American tour, so that I can say goodbye to my North American viewers. Not goodbye for good, obviously. I will be coming back to the US on a regular basis, but I would like to tour the major cities of this country. And if you would like to be a part of that, aside from contributing, you can, if you are also connected to meeting spaces in a city that has 1 million people or more, email me. My email is in the description. Let me know if there's a university space that you know about, some other kind of lecture hall with space for a couple hundred people that I might be able to rent out. These sorts of logistics, if somebody else were to help me with that, make it a lot easier for me to travel the country. I already have spots reserved for Pittsburgh and also for Denver, Colorado. But of course, I definitely need to work with more cities than that. If you are in a major city, either in the US or Canada, I also would really love to come to Montreal, Vancouver, those sorts of places. If you are in any way connected with a meeting space that would have, room for a couple hundred people, that I may be able to rent out affordably, I would love to come to see you. And by the way, the theme of the lectures are how Starship will save the world. And I mean that very, very seriously. So I really hope that that's something that I'll be able to do. So if you'd like to work with that, and even if you can't, the main thing that you can do that's more helpful than anything else is to just like these videos, and also please share the content as well. The more people that watch my content, the better off I am and the less I need outside support. As if I had a month like I had last month, just a huge number of views that I had last month, if that were to happen on a regular basis, I wouldn't need outside support anymore. I'd never have to ask for outside support ever again. That's what I would love to have happen ideally. So please like my videos and please share them. That's the best way to help. Okay, enough of that nonsense. How the sunglasses class deliveries go. Tennessee, if you haven't received your sunglasses, email me and let's get you that delivered right away. I thought we had all those taken care of. Email me and let's get that hammered out. I know that there's only a few left, if any. I know I took care of a lot of those recently, but nevertheless. And also, looks like we have something going finally from Ariane Spas. Oh, I love the sloth. That was a really cool little clip that they got. Is the sloth. Oh, thank you so much, Supax. Really do appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much for your generous support over the years. Makes a big difference. So yes, we do have the show going right now. We discussed that for a little while, and it was determined that I kind of asked around among some of my supporters, what would you prefer? Do you want to hear what the Ariane Spas broadcast, or do you want to hear my commentary? So I'm going to be listening to the commentary and kind of conveying any important facts that they may have to say. But the conclusion was, if you're tuned into my channel, that means you want to hear my commentary and not theirs. But that's not, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We may bring them on as well. So what a beautiful place, by the way, to launch from. My God, what an astonishing place to launch from in French Guiana. So right now, by the way, the I have their broadcast piped into my ear, and I'm going to just make some commentary about what they happen to be saying. So, and right now it's just talking about the obvious things. Ariane 5 is about to launch. We know that. Ariane 5 is about to make its final launch. I'm sorry. Go ahead, producer. Right. I have my producer listening in on what they're saying. If there's some really critical information that you guys should listen to, he's going to go ahead and cut in their audio feed. At the moment, right now, it's just introductions as to and Legos, it seems. So once again, to reiterate, this is not a particularly vital mission. It's a couple of communication satellites, long-standing contracts that Ariane Spas has had with their customers. This is not an earth-shattering mission, but the one thing that is significant about this, of course, is the final launch of Ariane 5. This is a rocket that has some unique capabilities. The main capability that it has, of course, is payload and fairing size. It has a very big fairing. It has a very large payload. It has an enormous amount of thrust. As I said before, not that long ago, this rocket was the most powerful rocket on the planet until the advent of Falcon Heavy. So this was, definitely a top-notch, leading edge launch vehicle. Just not as much now. So we have 26 and a half minutes or so, it appears, to the launch mode. By the way, let's go ahead and start asking the viewers a bit. What is your favorite Ariane 5 mission? What did you like the most? I'd be interested to see what people's opinions are. I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay. The producer just said James Webb. Rosetta, Carl, I agree with you. Landing on a comet, that's metal. That's a serious accomplishment. I agree with you there, Carl. JWST, yep, very, very tough to argue with that one. JWST again, absolutely. JWST says Michael Sergeant Salty, JWST, Johnny, JWST. Yeah, I mean, come on. It's tough to argue with JWST. Once again, I like Rosetta though. Landing on a comet, orbiting a comet, and all the imagery they got from that colossal comet, mind blowing. And I really got to see a lot of images that I had never seen before when I investigated it. Very cool stuff indeed. The Galileo constellation, yes, indeed. Launching Hermes and never came to be. Yes, very disappointing, but it would have been a big thing indeed. Oh, Ellie just sent somebody. Well, thank you, Glenn. Really do appreciate that. Here comes the Twitch raid. Well, thank you, Ellie. Those of you who are not subscribed to Ellie in Space, those of you who do not support Ellie in Space, please do so. Great broadcaster, definitely. So, by all means, ditto. Hello, and there's Ellie in Space herself. Thank you so much for tuning in today, Ellie. Boy, fantastic. Really, really happy to have you guys rating my show today. Thank you so much for coming to visit, and thank you for liking. Hello, Dominic. Thank you so much, and Gary, and boy, Kenneth. Thank you so much for the $20 support. The Perimeter Institute would be an awesome place for the lecture in Waterloo, Ontario. Is that right? Kenneth, email me. Please email me with the details. If you can help me with just a little bit of the groundwork, then I will come to you. I will definitely come to you. So yeah, let's make this happen. Would be very excited to come and visit my Canadian viewers. Boy, look at all of these LE viewers who are coming over. Thank you so much. So many of you coming over to pay us a visit. Really, really appreciate that. Boy, exciting stuff indeed. Right now, by the way, for our Alien Space viewers who just came over, I was recently asking, what is your favorite Ariane 5 mission? Let me tell you, there's a lot of them. So many amazing scientific accomplishments made possible by this rocket. Stephen, thank you so much. $2. A cute sloth for the win. I totally agree. It's amazing what a different area and a magnificent place to be launching rockets from. Willem says, and come to Belgium. Absolutely. When I make it to Europe, I'll be coming to Belgium. Don't worry about that. That's definitely happening. So let's light this candle. Absolutely. Right now, we are just over 20 minutes away from ignition. Got to be JWST. Yep, just about everybody saying that. Once again, as I said, my personal favorite is Rosetta. I think the whole notion of rendezvousing, orbiting a comet, landing on a comet, the accomplishments that were made by that mission are truly astonishing. And no, you have not missed any launches. So once again, right now, we are just taking a poll as to what our favorite Juice. Yes, Alan. Juice is an amazing mission. Once again, a huge probe. We're talking about 4 metric tons or so, carrying all kinds of scientific instruments to investigate the Jovian moons up close and personal. That being the case, then you needed a reliable heavy lift rocket to carry that out. Ariane 5 did the job. Beppe Colombo, yes, indeed, Jan, neat stuff. I got an opportunity again because of you guys' support. I got an opportunity to go to the London Science Museum and see a magnificent mock-up of the Beppe Colombo and learn a lot more about that mission. The astonishing amount of heat protection that they had to implement in order to make that whole thing work was kind of mind-blowing. You have to do so much to protect a probe that's flying close to the sun, and they did indeed manage to accomplish that. So yeah, that's a hell of a mission once again, ESA and JAXA. So yeah, neat stuff indeed. So let's see, we're down, as it looks like, yeah, just over 21 minutes actually, to ignition. Still over 230 people watching. Thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe, especially the like part. Please like the video. It makes a big difference. The launch, once again, is just over 20 minutes. Richard, this is the last flight because they're out of Ariane 5s. Because of essentially they didn't coordinate the ending of Ariane 5 that well with the beginning of Ariane 6. They expected Ariane 6 to be in operation by now, and it isn't. It's the same problem that we have with ULA, except on a different level. Now we have ULA running out of Atlas 5s before Vulcan Centaur is in service. And even if they're not running out of them, all of their Atlas 5s are committed to future launches. So ULA cannot bid on any new business whatsoever. The London Science Museum, somebody made a comment about that. Neat stuff. I'm going to jump over to live stream Q&A real quick again on the Discord server. Once again, if you are a member of the Discord server, and to do that, you just become a Patreon supporter, or you hit that little join button on the YouTube on my YouTube channel. Either one works, and you'll get an invitation to join the Discord server, which gives you access to a lot of different things, especially the live stream Q&A, but other ways of communicating with me directly. Suex says, I'll try and find me a conference center. Thank you. On the west coast of Canada. Yes, I would love to be there, Supax. Really appreciate it, brother. Hopefully that happens. And yeah, Ariane won't get any more Russian engines. Michael, that's another really good point. For so long, relations had become so good between the West and Russia that Russian engines just became a staple of space flight. I mean, everybody was using them. And of course, for almost a decade, we were using Soyuz exclusively to reach the ISS. That's how good things were between us and Russia for a long period of time. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't. And that's very unfortunate. Just want to check to see what's happening here on the broadcast. Producer, anything that we should be looking at here? All right. So essentially, what we're talking about here is the cooperation between the DLR, the German space agency, in order to the construction of these communication satellites that are heading up. Straws, thank you so much for being an angry advocate. I really do appreciate that. Real American, thank you so much. Really do appreciate you supporting this channel. So yes, Straws, you can now join the Discord server. We regularly put invitations onto the YouTube membership, just so that you can join. Sure enough, we just got a message from our awesome producer giving you some instructions on how to do that. And by the way, lots of people are part of this Discord server now, almost 500. So we do have a big membership at the moment. So super happy about that. Okay, and then Mike is in the live stream Q&A also. Mike MC, who's also been a member of the Discord server for a very long time, an awesome supporter of this channel. 17 and a half minutes to ignition. Very, very excited indeed about all of that. So yeah, I mean, this has been a huge change. A huge change for the future of spaceflight. The fact that Russia is now, under serious interdiction as a result of their unprovoked war in Ukraine. And yeah, it complicates matters in a huge way. And at the same time, we still have to work together on the ISS. And we managed to do it. And I'm happy that we have. It shows that these cosmonauts on the ISS still have a high level of professionalism even though most of them, are ex-military people. Some of their, comrades in arms may be dying in Ukraine right now. They may have totally different viewpoints from the viewpoints of the West, but still they are collaborating responsibly, and I do appreciate that. All right. So back on target here. We've got Airbus and Thales Alenia. Just to reiterate some of the things that Thales Alenia are doing right now. Thales Alenia is possibly the best company or the most successful company when it comes to building space station modules. Right now, they are building space station modules for the Lunar Gateway. That the IHAB module, for example, is coming from Thales Alenia. One of the problems that they're facing is the fact that we don't have enough lift, enough payload in order to deliver a truly large habitation module to the Lunar Gateway. Previously, they're planning on using SLS to do that, but now that SLS is so ridiculously expensive, and now that SLS is proving that it's probably not going to be able to do much of anything aside from just getting astronauts out to the Gateway, now they have to redesign IHAB to be compatible with the fairing of Falcon Heavy, which makes it way, way smaller. That being the case, then the new IHAB module is pretty damn compacted. A lot smaller than I would like it to be. It would be really nice if instead they would look at an inflatable module rather than what they're working on right now. Once again, we got no new developments from the launch, aside from the fact that everything is proceeding according to plan. Once again, we have over 240 people watching. Yes, and real quick, now that we have so many people on right now, there's going to be a special segment about the Ariane 5 on the newest to the future episode that's going to be coming out soon. For those of you who haven't noticed, I am now a new presenter on To the Future. One of the reasons I'm doing that is because Sebastian, as you may recall, Fred, the guy who originally created that channel, he's actually still involved with it, just more behind the scenes. And we have new producers and new presenters, that sort of thing. Sebastian was responsible for making my channel successful. Plain and simple. He gave me a big plug when he was getting 50, 60,000 views on every video, and I was lucky to get 1,000. He gave me a big plug and my channel exploded to 10,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers. Wouldn't have happened without him. So now that his channel could use a shot in the arm, I've gone over there to do broadcasting for them. And so I guess what I'm saying is I encourage you to head on over and watch To the Future, because these new broadcasts are excellent. Really good quality, much better editing than I do, that's for sure, and really well researched. And of course, I've got a segment where I get to rant and rave on every one of them. How can I possibly turn down those sorts of opportunities? So really do appreciate everybody jumping on board. All hail Sebastian, says Plastic Pinocchio. Yes, indeed, Sebastian, really, really likable guy. And as I said, gave my channel the shot in the arm that it really needed at a critical time. Now I'm trying to return the favor. So please tune in to the new content on To the Future, and it will definitely help out. Okay. He's still, it's, yeah, the last information I got, producer's still engaged and letting me know Sebastian is backing away. That's true. Still involved in the channel though. And we want to be certain that, as whether he's getting disengaged or not, we definitely want the channel to be successful. Oh, is that right? There's a Roman history channel called Marinoris that Sebastian runs. I had no idea. Thank you for telling me, producer. For those of you who want to watch some Sebastian, he still has a channel on Roman history called Marinoris. So yeah, by all means, check that out. Thank you so much, Barney, for subscribing to the Future. Really do appreciate that. So in any event, Yeah, exciting stuff coming from that channel as well. I've been very impressed with the content. We are coming up really soon on the moment of truth, the this historic moment in spaceflight history where Ariane 5 will take to the skies for the last time. Once again, if you are watching from France, or if you just have friends in France, I think that this is a moment when the French nation needs to stand up and be proud. And also, all the other nations that were involved in the construction of Ariane 5 need to stand up and be proud, because this has been a ridiculously successful vehicle. This launch vehicle has accomplished amazing things over the years, and including some of the most amazing and spectacular scientific achievements of our species has been achieved as a result of this heavy lift vehicle. And over the time when I researched this rocket, and released this tribute video that I did, it was only then that I became aware of just how many important missions this rocket was responsible for making possible. And today, this is the time to give it one last salute. And yeah, Johnny, you're right. You're right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm saying this. There is chaos in France. This is a time for France to calm down for a moment. I would hope anybody who's watching this in France to just, be proud for a moment, because this is, a huge accomplishment. There are very few countries in the world that can say that we reached not only orbit, but we reached out to the planets of the solar system, that we put some of the most amazing astronomical instruments in history out into space. Very few countries can legitimately say that, but France can. That's a reason to be proud. And that's a time to calm down, put aside your differences for a little bit, and be proud about what this nation accomplished together. And I really hope that that's something that happens. All right. Let's go ahead and wet my whistle real quick, and then we will continue talking. By all means, go ahead. So we are counting down only about 9 minutes to ignition right now. If all goes well here, the final few minutes that Ariane 5 is going to spend on terra firma. After that, it is all over. Thank you, Christopher. Really appreciate that. Let me go ahead and check once again the live stream Q&As. I expect Russia is planning on dropping ISS and merging with Tiangong, the Chinese space station. I agree, Mike. They may indeed do that. Ariane 5 is like a small version of SLS. Yeah, you're right. In many ways, it kind of is. And you know what? I mean, that's okay, because this rocket came out back in 1996 when, the space shuttle's reusability wasn't working. Reusability was just far too expensive. And, in spite of all of our efforts to try to make the shuttle affordable, it was actually more expensive to put payloads into orbit with the shuttle than it was to use expendable rockets. So at the time, everybody was thinking that this was really the only way to get payloads into space affordably. It was with expendable rockets. Obviously, all of that has changed thanks to SpaceX, but that happened in 2016, 2015, 2016, many years after the first flight of Ariane 5. So we need to look at Ariane 5 in the context of what it is and when it was envisioned, when it was first built, when it was first launched. And if you do that, this is an amazing rocket with amazing accomplishments. So this is a time to be, to be happy and to be proud if you are, if you live in a country that contributed to the success of this rocket. That, of course, includes nations other than France. France, of course, took the lead on this, but still, many countries in Europe contributed to the success of this rocket. We are just over, or just under 7.5 minutes away from ignition. Exciting stuff coming up. Please don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Producer just came back in. Thank you very much for all your support. We are counting down the last few minutes of Ariane 5. The last few minutes of the history of an amazing rocket that began a generation ago, back in 1996. There aren't a whole lot of rockets on this planet that can say that have been in service for 27 years, with a huge success record, no serious anomalies since 2002, over 2 decades since this rocket experienced any significant problems. That is a big issue indeed. Dusk in French Guiana. Hopefully, you get to see some impressive atmospheric effects. That'd be cool, Ross. Now, one thing we need to keep in mind. Now, who knows? Maybe Ariane's boss is doing this a little bit differently. Generally, they don't give us these spectacular visuals that we see from SpaceX or ULA with cameras covering the rocket, showing all the different perspectives. Maybe we'll see something a little bit different this time, but in general, they don't tend to do that sort of thing as much. They do things their own way, a more utilitarian way. So it may not be quite as spectacular as other launches that we have experienced or expect to see. But at the same time, yes, it is dusk and a beautiful evening in French Guiana from the looks of it, and that's going to make for some pretty amazing visual effects when it takes off. That's for damn sure. And who knows what else we might see. So, yeah, exciting stuff indeed coming from Ariane 5 and Ariane's boss this evening. Let's see here. We are down to just over 5 minutes and counting. Boy, super excited. Over 280 people watching now. Thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe. And again, thank you very much for everybody's support in every way, whether you like this video, whether you're watching it, whether you subscribe, or if you support me through through super chats or on Patreon and the variety of other ways that you can find in the description. All of that is immensely helpful to my channel and helps me bring better content to you all the time. So thank you so much for everything. Will I be covering the Chandrayaan 3 launch later this month? Yes, Jamie. I absolutely will. This first ever landing attempt on the surface of the moon from the ISRO, the Indian Space Agency. I'm about actually to start engaging in some more aggressive coverage of their activities because there's some big stuff coming from India right now. Plastic Pinocchio, thank you so much for the €6. Really do appreciate your ongoing support over the years, Plastic Pinocchio. You've been an awesome viewer for a long time. Thank you so much for all of that. So yeah, India is making a big splash already, and they're about to make an even bigger splash. Big stuff coming from India here very soon. The reason they made a big splash recently was the fact that they delivered 2 very extensive OneWeb constellations into orbit at a time when it looked like that OneWeb might have to go exclusively with SpaceX, their competitor, to deploy their satellites, which they did. They had a couple of launches with SpaceX, but India also demonstrated that, hey, in case things go south between you and SpaceX, because after all, you are competitors, we can get the job done for you as well. And they had 2 very successful launches of the OneWeb constellation at a time when they really needed it, because, of course, the Soyuz was no longer available to OneWeb. So, yeah, a moment of crisis for OneWeb, a moment of crisis for the United Kingdom and for everybody else involved with the success of OneWeb, and India made it happen. So yes, indeed. Vive la France. Yes, indeed. I agree completely. Supax, thank you so much for your support, jumping on board again. You guys are making all the difference in the world to my channel right now. Ariane 5, the legend, and I don't think that that's an exaggeration. This is a hell of a rocket that's accomplished amazing things. Amazing things indeed. Just check the live stream Q&A again. So yeah, it's coming really close now. Just over 2.5 minutes. As I say, anything could go wrong. We could encounter some issues here, and there could be a scrub. But then again, I kind of doubt it a little bit. They've done really well with the Ariane 5 over the years. Phil, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot to me. It means a hell of a lot to me. I do my best to try to provide unique launch coverage, and we are coming up on one of the most historic moments in the history of human spaceflight, the final launch of the Ariane 5. Producer, let's go ahead and cut in this. Yep, let's cut in this audio.
You can see the launcher moving during these 7 seconds. This is just a little warm-up before the very last Ariane 5 rocket takes off to the sky. Can you imagine, Katie, that next time the satellites will see the outer world, it will be in the emptiness of space?
That's quite
Godspeed,
a thought,
Ariane
isn't it?
5. Let's go.
1 minute and 17 seconds now.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute.
Enjoy the show.
Top à 0 moins 1 minute.
Counting down. Let's go, guys. Come on. Come on. Give us one last awesome show. Thanks so much, Kiwi. Thank you.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final.
Here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Here we go. Here we go.
2, unité, top, allumage
Go.
moteur
Come
visuel.
on. There go the SRBs. Come on, baby. Go, 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 go. What a magnificent takeoff. Come on, baby. Come on. Looking beautiful. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Propulsion nominale.
God, listen to that thing.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Beautiful. Keep it up. Come on, come on, come on.
Propulsion nominale.
Phenomenal so far. Keep it up. Come on, baby. Come on. Keep climbing. Keep climbing.
Syracuse 4B and Heinrich Hertz satellite blazing a trail on board the last ever Ariane 5 across the equatorial skies, and we can hear the rumble of her
Trajectoire nominale.
engines as she flies over.
It's very impressive, and we are, 11 kilometers from the pad, and the delay.
So far, looking very good. Wasn't that a spectacular takeoff? My God, that was just stunning. What a perfect time to launch. The atmospherics looking beautiful. I mean, boy, did that light up the sky, and the noise of those SRBs and those engines. Dear Lord Almighty, that was impressive indeed. So right now, of course, this mission is still far from over. They are very good at what they do, and they've been doing this for a long time, but still, let's hope that everything's still going well. Okay, so the SRBs have now separated from the rocket. Everything is still going smoothly as near as we can tell. Everything's still looking very good with the final flight of Ariane 5. extremely important moment of MECO and engaging the upper stage engines. All of this extremely critical. Some rockets have been experiencing problems with this lately. One would hope that Ariane 5 is not going to, as reliable as it is not going to run into those issues. It certainly hasn't for a long time. Everything looking good so far. Fairings just separated. So far, so good. Everything's still looking nominal. It's all looking good. Well done, guys. So far, this is looking very, very optimistic. Everything looking very smooth. It's what we would expect, given the fact, once again, that the last time this rocket experienced any sort of an anomaly was way back in 2002. But still, we've got a lot of mission left to go. So let's hope that everything goes well. Everything is still looking good. Sites in Russia could be used to launch cosmonauts. That's a good question, Alan. Honestly, I have no idea. I would assume that a Soyuz could go to the Tiangong, but then again, it's also possible that the Chinese would simply launch cosmonauts using their own launch facilities and their own vehicles. Hard to say. All right, everything still looking very smooth right now. The rocket is still climbing reliably. Doesn't appear that there are any engine problems or any issues that with the second stage that may be contributing to any sort of problems. But once again, we're still a ways from satellite deployment. Correct, Ross. But so far, so good. I'm going to go ahead and check some information real quick, other sources, to see what the status is. Okay, so yeah, everything's still looking very nominal right now with the fairings being jettisoned and everything. Very unlikely that anything is going to go wrong with this. If there are any problems, then it's going to be with the payload and not with the rocket itself at this stage. But nevertheless, I tend to like to hang in with people during launches to make sure that everything is going to go smoothly, at least to the deployment of the payload, before I cut away, because you never know what's going to happen. So I always want to be certain that everything's looking good. And of course, all of us want Ariane 5 to be magnificently successful tonight. Thus far, everything seems to be going exactly as planned. And it would be an enormous surprise at this point if anything did go wrong at this stage. Everything is looking really, really good. Once again, this excellent equatorial location combined with the very powerful thrust that's available to the Ariane 5 and its solid rocket boosters allow it to transport some very heavy satellites up to some pretty high orbits. Tank Watcher, thank you so much. Really do appreciate your support. So all of this obviously is a critical part of the functioning of this rocket. And now they don't have any more of them. Now, Ariane 6 not being in service means that, European satellite manufacturers have no choice but to go with India or to go with SpaceX, maybe China, but probably either India or SpaceX. That's your only choices left in the world at the moment. And that is truly unfortunate. I'm a big believer in competition. I love SpaceX. I'm a SpaceX fan, but I am a bigger fan of competition. And we don't have very much of that right now. So I would very much like to see that change for the better here very soon, but no immediate. It's just not looking all that optimistic for future launch vehicles. But hopefully that's going to change very soon. I mean, right now we have delays with Ariane 6, we have delays with Vulcan Centaur, we have delays with Vega, we have delays with the Japanese H3. I mean, delays across the board all over the planet. It's tough to understand why all of this has happened to all of these different talented companies. Up there we have payload separation. Payload separation, it appears that we have successful ignition of the second stage. Once again, I don't necessarily trust what the animations have to say on these things, but I'm pretty certain that that's going to go smoothly. Okay, according to Ariane Spas, 51 seconds ago, we have cryotechnic upper stage ignition. So we don't seem to have any problems with the upper stage engine. But once again, mission is not yet over. You can see, of course, the projected trajectory and the point to where these satellites are released. 2 satellites being involved here, very large ones, and telecommunication satellites. Very advanced and ambitious telecommunication satellites that are best suited to heavy lift rockets, European satellites, and nothing particularly exciting about them, nothing particularly unique. The one thing that's more important about this than the payload is, of course, the final launch of Ariane 5. Compared to its previous missions, such as JUICE, for example, the recent successful deployment of JUICE, this is not nearly as exciting, but still a very significant launch, obviously, because we want to see Ariane 5's final mission, its swan song, to be a successful one. Because there you go. You have the final time, regardless of what happens here, you have the final time that Ariane 5 has ever launched, the final time that we will ever witness an Ariane 5 launch, the final time that we're going to see a heavy lift rocket take off from this launch facility in French Guiana until we get a new launch provider, until we get Ariane 6. It's going to be a long time before we see a lot of things that we've been very familiar with seeing in French Guiana, familiar with seeing from European spaceflight, and that sucks. Yes. Not just yet. How long before satellite? How long, producer? How long before satellite deployment? Do we know? Is it? All right. I'm going to check. I'm going to check the data one more time here. Everything seems to be going very well. If we were going to have any sort of anomaly, it should have happened by now. The last stage where things could have gone wrong would have been where we had the second stage ignition. And according to Ariane Spas, as of 3 minutes ago, we have a successful ignition of the upper stage. The engine seems to be burning very well. Altitude seems to be nominal. Everything seems to be going as planned, and it's going to be a considerable period of time before the satellites are actually deployed. And we should have There should be no problems until then. So once again, guys, I would ask you to, if you haven't done this already, please like this video. Please subscribe once again. And for all of you who have supported this video in any way, regardless of whether you're just watching or if you liked it, or if you support me through super chats or membership through Patreon, regardless of how you've supported this channel, I love all you guys. Thank you so much for making this channel a success. And once again, to Ariane 5, all the best. And thank you so much for almost 30 years of magnificence in space flight. And until we see another rocket like Ariane 5, I urge all of you to stay angry about space.